Alright, here we go YouTube. Quick video update of the young Birmingham rollers. And in this video I'm going to show you guys how I train my birds. And when I say my birds, I mean the birds that I actually bred and their parents were also bred by me. And a lot of these birds have a lot of the selection that I've put into them. And I'm going to be showing everything that I speak of in my YouTube channel, and it's all because of experience and factual information that I've gathered over the years. So real simple, I'm gonna show you the most important thing about training a young Birmingham roller kit. So the first thing I like to do when I put my young birds into their kit box is I like to feed them inside of the kit box and make sure they all learn how to eat. One thing that drives them to want to eat is the whistle and the shaking of the feed so that they know food is coming. As you guys can see right there, just by them seeing the can, they know food is here. So that's number one as far as getting their full attention. So after I've got their full attention, what I like to do is I like to take the feed and drive them out of the kit box so they can start learning the landing mechanism. And what the landing mechanism allows them to do is when they start to fly, they actually know how to land. So it won't tire out the bird and causing the bird to land out of range or far away from home where the bird won't be able to make it back. And that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people would lose their birds. A lot of people would say it's homing instinct, but it's really not. It's really the landing mechanism. The birds are naturally born to fly, but as babies they don't really know how to maneuver the landing. So in order for them to learn their landing mechanism before they actually take flight, I like to put their feed tray that they've learned how to eat on from really young babies. So this tray and this can, they understand it. That's what drives them out of the kit box back and forth. So as you guys can see there, that's what I like to do. They understand the feed call, they understand their feed tray. So what I do is I add a little bit of feed to the tray, causing them to jump out and fly just a bit, maybe a flap or two away from their kit box. What this causes is them actually learning that landing mechanism by landing right on the tray, and then when flying back to the kit box, it just becomes a habit of learning how to land. So I'll do this for about maybe 3 or 4 days. After the 4th day, what I like to do is I like to get all the birds onto the tray and then shut the door. What that'll do is gonna drive the birds, if they leave this tray, it's gonna cause them to either go to the top of the kit box or the top of this roof here. And what that does, it allows them to start looking around at their location. After the birds learn to look around at their location, 1 or 2 of your birds will naturally just take flight, and that bird will make a quick circle and it'll come back and land. That's when you know you're ready to start training your birds and letting them fly. So a lot of this information is just information that I've gathered over the years, and it's just what works for me every time. Another thing, if you guys notice, my birds are eating pigeon pellets, and the reason why they continue to eat pigeon pellets while training is because it allows them to continue to grow, gives them the correct strength, and it keeps them real nice and healthy, which is really the main reason of the pellets. I like to whistle every time I add feed, because after consistency they understand that the whistle means food and it means nothing else. So I only whistle when I pour food. I don't whistle unless I have to as far as a feed call, but I try to make them understand that the whistle means food from the beginning. So this is about my 4th day training this particular kit. So what I like to do is, like I mentioned earlier, is shut the door and it's either going to cause them to go from the kit box to the top of the kit box or stay on the tray. And this is what causes them to understand that start learning your surroundings. So what I like to do is shut the door and just watch the birds do whatever they feel like doing for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. After I see that they start getting tired out or they're not really responding to where they're at, then I'll drive them back into the kit box. Another thing that I've learned over the years that'll teach the birds is this teaches them to always stay on either their tray or inside their kit box. My birds tend to not go to the ground just over whatever it is. I think what it causes is them learning the tray and the kit box so much that it's just repetition that they just learned it. It's just something that they do. So something I've used to my advantage. So I'll do this for maybe about the next 10 days, and maybe about 10 to 15 days is when they should start taking flight on their own, and hopefully then I can give you guys an update video of the actual kit flying around and the little things I do to keep my young birds nice and happy so they can continue to do what they're supposed to do and get the best out of them. So we've been out here for about 20 minutes, and naturally the birds will go back into their kit box on their own. You don't really have to force them into their box, as the repetition really seems to work. At least the way that I do it. I tend to do it every day around the same time. You just kind of want to find where your inner medium is. No one can tell you how much to feed a kit, only because the amount of birds matter. The amount of food that they're eating, all of that has to be taken into consideration, and only the owner of the kit can tell how much a kit should eat. Over the years and time, I've learned how to tell. As far as conditioning goes, when it comes down to flight, keeping them healthy, how long I want them to fly, and etc. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed them inside of their box after we trained for about maybe 20-25 minutes. And every day gradually I'll just add a little bit more time into them as they get healthier and they get more courage as far as wanting to take flight and wanting to go up and fly around and do their thing. So once we get there, I'll change my feed. I'll show when I change my feed, what type of feed I'm using. But for now, we are on the 22% pellets, and we are on as much as you can eat. Buffet is what I would call it. The birds are eating as much as they want, so I'm not watching their feed. I want them as healthy as possible, as strong as possible, so when they start flying around, they have their full advantage, and I'm not taking away from the actual bird. Another very important thing about Birmingham rollers is you want to keep your water clean as possible. If possible, cleaning out your water container on the daily basis with bleach just keeps bacteria away and just keeps their tray nice and clean, gives them fresh water. And the beneficial thing about doing it on the daily basis is that your birds get fresh water every day. So you don't want to wait until it gets messy and you got old green water in there and your birds aren't so healthy because of the water they're drinking. So as you guys can see, the birds are about done eating. The way you know they're done is when they're walking around, they're not really chasing after the feed, and then you'll see a few birds in their perch. So we'll do this repetition like I mentioned for maybe the next 5 to 10 days. Within that time, these birds should build their courage to take flight, start flying around and get to know the area. So once we get there, I'll keep you guys updated. Comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think about the young Birmingham roller kit.